can we truly know anything outside of ourselves? If every observation, every conclusion, is inevitably filtered through the unique lens of our subjective experience, can objective reality truly exist for any of us? Consider how a single piece of art, a symphony, or even a sunset can evoke vastly different emotions and interpretations in different people. Is there one true experience of these things, or are they fundamentally shaped by the individual perceiving them? This question is more than just an intellectual exercise. It strikes at the heart of how we understand ourselves and the universe. By grappling with questions that may have no definitive answers, we expand our minds, challenge our assumptions, and deepen our appreciation for the complexity of existence. It's easy to become fixated on finding the right answer. But what if the real value lies not in the destination, but in the journey itself? What if the pursuit of narrow, easily digestible answers actually limits our perspectives, blinding us to the vastness of what remains unknown? Throughout this video, we will embrace a specific framework, the question exploration acceptance pattern. We will begin by posing profound questions that seem to defy resolution. Explore these quandaries through a variety of lenses, philosophical, scientific, and psychological, and ultimately, find a way to accept their inherent unknowability. After all, even in science, the bedrock of empirical knowledge, hypotheses are constantly tested, refined, and sometimes overturned entirely. The pursuit of absolute certainty often proves elusive, and perhaps it's not even the most worthwhile goal. To navigate these murky waters, we must embrace intellectual humility, the understanding that our knowledge is limited and that we must remain open to perspectives that challenge our own. Intellectual arrogance, the unfounded belief in one's own superior knowledge, can lead to close-mindedness and the rejection of potentially groundbreaking ideas. Why is all of this so vital? Because engaging with unanswerable questions is essential for personal growth and intellectual development. It compels us to think critically, fostering creativity and a deeper understanding of life's complexities. Just as empathy requires us to step into another person's shoes and see the world from their perspective, exploring unanswerable questions forces us to confront our own cognitive biases and expand our horizons. The inability to definitively answer certain fundamental questions has shaped the course of human history, igniting philosophical debates and triggering scientific revolutions that have reshaped our understanding of the cosmos. Consider the shift from a geocentric to a heliocentric model of the universe, a paradigm shift that occurred only because individuals dared to question established beliefs and pursue answers that challenged the status quo. Accepting the limits of our knowledge can, paradoxically, lead to greater intellectual freedom. When we release the need for absolute certainty, we become more willing to explore new ideas, to entertain unconventional possibilities, and to challenge the rigid dogmas that can stifle innovation and progress. Believing in false certainties carries significant dangers, often leading to intolerance, conflict, and the suppression of dissenting voices. This tendency can be seen in the grip of confirmation bias, where individuals actively seek out information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs while ignoring evidence that contradicts them. So, we return to our theme. The true value lies in the journey of questioning, even when definitive answers remain elusive. The process of inquiry itself can be far more enriching than the attainment of any purported final answer. Think of life as climbing a mountain. While reaching the summit may offer a moment of exhilaration, it is the climb itself, the challenges overcome, the vistas witnessed, and the lessons learned that truly transforms us. Before diving deeper into specific questions, let's establish some essential background. The history of philosophical inquiry is replete with brilliant minds grappling with fundamental questions about reality, consciousness, and morality. From Socrates' relentless questioning to Plato's theory of forms, from Kant's transcendental idealism to the existential angst of Kierkegaard and Sartre, philosophers have long wrestled with the limits of human understanding. What then do we mean by unanswerable questions? We're referring to questions that lie beyond the current boundaries of human knowledge, questions that may be inherently impossible to answer due to the very nature of reality itself. It's crucial to distinguish between questions that are currently unanswered problems that future scientific advancements may resolve and those that seem, at least from our current vantage point, unanswerable in principle. For instance, physics grapples with questions like, what happened before the Big Bang? Or, are there other universes beyond our own? As we continue, we'll explore key knowledge threads, examining them through the lens of unanswerable questions. What is the nature of consciousness? How did the universe originate? Do we truly possess free will? What are the ultimate limits of human perception? And as we delve into each of these threads, we'll begin to recognize recurring themes and motifs. We'll see the interplay between order and chaos, the intricate relationship between mind and matter, and the enduring tension between determinism and free will. But are unanswerable questions simply unsolved problems, or are they inherent features of the universe itself? Are they limitations of our minds, or reflections of a deeper reality that transcends our comprehension? If objectivity is truly impossible, can we ever truly understand each other, bridge the gap between our subjective experiences? If understanding is inherently limited, is true communication even possible? And if true communication is unattainable, what does that mean for our relationships, even the relationship we have with ourselves? Perhaps some problems are, as the philosophical perspective of Mysterianism suggests, simply beyond the grasp of human comprehension. We must ask ourselves, what if the most profound discoveries await us not in the attainment of definitive answers, but in the persistent refinement of our questions? What if the very pursuit of these unanswerable questions holds the key to unlocking our full potential as human beings? What then are some of the most tantalizing, most enduring questions that may never yield definitive answers? Let's now turn our attention inward to the realm of consciousness, where the very act of questioning becomes intertwined with the subject being questioned. Why does subjective experience the redness of red, the sting of pain, the feeling of joy exist at all? This is often called the hard problem of consciousness. Why aren't we simply philosophical zombies, beings that behave indistinguishably from conscious humans, but without any inner experience? What fundamental principle dictates that certain physical processes give rise to qualia, those raw feels that constitute our subjective reality? Consider the intricate dance of neurons firing in your brain as you read these words. Science can map these processes, describe their functions, and even predict their outcomes. But can it explain why you experience anything at all while it happens? Over the centuries, philosophers and scientists have proposed numerous theories to crack this mystery. Materialism posits that consciousness is simply a product of brain activity, an emergent property arising from the complex interactions of neurons. Yet, this view struggles to explain how mere physical processes can give rise to subjective experience. Dualism, championed by thinkers like René Descartes, suggests that the mind and body are separate entities, interacting in some mysterious way. But if the mind is not physical, how can it possibly influence the physical world, and vice versa? Integrated information theory proposes that consciousness is related to the amount of integrated information. In a system, the more integrated the information, the more conscious the system. This theory offers a mathematical framework for quantifying consciousness, but it remains unclear whether it truly captures the essence of subjective experience. And there's also panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, present in all things to varying degrees. This perspective argues that consciousness isn't something that emerges from complexity, but rather something that's always been there, a basic building block of reality. In many respects, these theories are similar to trying to understand a symphony by only looking at the individual instruments. We might understand how each instrument works and what notes it plays, but we would still fail to grasp the emergent beauty and complexity of the music as a whole. Despite the remarkable advances in neuroscience, a complete understanding of how consciousness arises from physical processes continues to elude us. We can correlate brain activity with subjective experiences, but we cannot yet explain the causal link between the two. Is it possible that consciousness is not something that can be reduced to physical terms, that it represents a fundamentally different kind of phenomenon? Could it be a fundamental property of the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism, rather than something that emerges from complexity? What if our current scientific tools are simply inadequate to probe the depths of consciousness? Or what if consciousness is a form of reality so fundamental that it shapes the very fabric of existence? Connecting this back to our initial question of objective reality, we see a profound link. If our experience is inherently subjective, if our consciousness acts as a unique filter shaping our perception, how can we ever truly understand the nature of reality itself? If consciousness is a prism through which all our perceptions are refracted, then objective knowledge becomes a tantalizing illusion. Might it be that consciousness is not merely a passive observer of the world, but an active participant in its creation? From the mysteries of the mind, let's now shift our gaze outward to the grandest of all questions, the origin and fate of the universe. What happened before the Big Bang? Was there anything at all, or was the Big Bang truly the beginning of everything, a singularity from which all space, time, and matter emerged? Imagine trying to determine what lies north of the North Pole. The question itself becomes nonsensical, as the concept of north ceases to have meaning at that point. Similarly, asking what happened before the Big Bang may be a category error, assuming a temporal dimension where none existed. Cosmologists have proposed a plethora of models to grapple with these questions. The inflationary universe theory suggests that the early universe underwent a period of extremely rapid expansion, smoothing out any initial irregularities and setting the stage for the formation of galaxies and stars. The multiverse theory proposes that our universe is just one of countless others, each with its own physical laws and constants. And cyclic models envision the universe undergoing endless cycles of expansion and contraction, with each cycle beginning with a big bounce rather than a big bang. The cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, provides strong evidence for the Big Bang theory. But what triggered the Big Bang in the first place? Our understanding of the very early universe is constrained by the laws of physics as we currently understand them. At the extreme densities and energies that prevailed in the first moments after the Big Bang, quantum mechanics and general relativity, our two most successful theories of physics clash, creating singularities. The Planck scale, the smallest unit of length and time that has any physical meaning, represents a fundamental barrier to our knowledge. Below this scale, the very fabric of spacetime becomes fuzzy and unpredictable, and our current theories break down. And cosmic inflation, a period of exponential expansion in the early universe, suggests that the observable universe is only a tiny fraction of the entire cosmos. This implies that there are regions of space that we can never observe, no matter how advanced our technology becomes. The question of the origin of the universe inevitably leads us back to the question of the limits of knowledge itself. If there are fundamental limits to what we can know, does this mean that some questions will forever remain unanswered? The pursuit of these questions, even if they are unanswerable, can lead to profound insights. Consider dark matter and dark energy, which together make up about 95% of the universe. We know they're there because of their gravitational effects on visible matter, but their true nature remains a mystery. And if we cannot even fully understand the stuff the universe is made of, how can we hope to unravel its ultimate origins? Let's now turn to a different domain, the realm of ethics and morality, and ask, is there an objective moral code? Are there universal moral principles that apply to all people at all times, or is morality simply a matter of subjective opinion or cultural convention? Consider the vast differences in moral attitudes across cultures and throughout history. Practices like cannibalism, infanticide, and slavery, once widely accepted in certain societies, are now almost universally condemned. This divergence raises a fundamental question. If morality were objective, wouldn't we expect to see greater consensus across cultures? Ethical theories abound, each attempting to provide a framework for determining right and wrong. Utilitarianism, for example, argues that the best action is the one that maximizes overall happiness and minimizes suffering. Deontology, associated with Immanuel Kant, emphasizes the importance of following moral rules and duties, regardless of the consequences. Virtue ethics, rooted in the teachings of Aristotle, focuses on cultivating moral character and developing virtues like courage, honesty, and compassion. The trolley problem, a classic thought experiment in ethics, highlights the complexities and contradictions inherent in these different theories. Despite centuries of philosophical debate, there is no widespread agreement on the existence of objective morality. The challenge of deriving ought from is of deducing moral principles from factual observations has proven to be a persistent stumbling block. Reconciling moral principles across different cultures and historical periods presents another formidable challenge. Moral nihilism suggests that there are no objective moral values, and that all moral claims are ultimately meaningless. Is it possible to ground morality in something more fundamental than subjective opinion or cultural norms? Or is morality ultimately a human construct, a tool that we use to create a more just and harmonious society? Connecting the question of moral objectivity to the questions of consciousness and the origin of the universe reveals a deep interconnectedness. If our perception of reality is inherently subjective, and if the universe itself is fundamentally mysterious, can we ever hope to establish a firm foundation for morality? If consciousness is a filter through which we experience the world, and if the universe's origins are shrouded in mystery, how can we build an objective moral compass? Yet, the pursuit of moral principles, even if they are ultimately subjective, can lead to moral progress. Societies can gradually improve their moral standards over time, becoming more inclusive, more compassionate, and more just. We have explored three profound questions: the nature of consciousness, the origin of the universe, and the problem of moral objectivity. In each case, we have encountered inherent limitations in our knowledge, barriers that may be insurmountable. We have followed a pattern of questioning, exploring, and ultimately accepting the inherent unknowability of certain aspects of existence. The value of these questions lies not in finding definitive answers, but in the journey of exploration itself. By grappling with these profound mysteries, we expand our understanding of the universe, our place in it, and our own limitations. These questions force us to confront our fundamental assumptions and to challenge conventional wisdom. They compel us to think critically, creatively, and compassionately. Embracing intellectual humility is paramount. By acknowledging the limits of our knowledge, we become more open to new ideas, more tolerant of different perspectives, and more willing to engage in constructive dialogue. Intellectual arrogance, the unfounded belief in one's own superior knowledge, is a dangerous trap, leading to close-mindedness and the rejection of new information. It fosters division, stifles innovation, and impedes progress. The universe is filled with mysteries. This is a source of wonder and inspiration. The pursuit of knowledge is a never-ending journey, and the most important discoveries may lie just beyond the horizon of what we currently understand. Let us embrace the unknown and continue questioning, exploring, and learning with open minds and humble hearts. Let's synthesize. We've journeyed through the intricate landscape of consciousness, pondered the universe's genesis, and wrestled with the elusiveness of moral objectivity. Each path has led us to the same humbling conclusion. The boundaries of human understanding are real and tangible. Subjective experience clouds any truly objective assessment. The physics of the Big Bang and what, if anything, came before presents a wall we may never scale. Morality remains stubbornly resistant to any universal code. The core revelation isn't the frustration of these limits, but the profound value embedded in the questioning itself. We must view the seeking of the answers as more valuable than the answers themselves. This pursuit expands our comprehension of the cosmos, our role within its grand design, and the inherent constraints of our own minds. Clinging to false certainties only shrinks our perspective. Instead, we must follow a question-exploration-acceptance pattern. Acceptance isn't resignation. It's not a passive surrender to ignorance, but an active embrace of intellectual humility and a renewed commitment to persistent inquiry. We are, in effect, agreeing to continually refine our search rather than cease looking because of the difficulty. The constant questioning provides its own reward as it reshapes our understanding. This brings us to the core understanding. Uncertainty is not an enemy to be vanquished, but an intrinsic element of the human experience. We must embrace it, not fear it. This embrace cultivates intellectual flexibility, sparks creativity, and bolsters our resilience against life's inevitable storms. Why? Because it forces us to remain agile, able to shift as needed instead of doubling down on a potentially flawed foundation. The human quest for knowledge stretches back to the dawn of consciousness. The questions we've explored are not isolated puzzles, but threads in a tapestry woven by science, philosophy, and art. These fields have been and continue to be propelled by an insatiable curiosity. Unanswerable questions serve as seeds. They lie dormant, waiting for the right conditions to sprout into new avenues of thought, new theoretical models, and even paradigm shifts that redefine our understanding of reality. These unanswerable questions act as catalysts, driving intellectual and societal evolution. The history of science is paved with examples. The Michelson-Morley experiment, which failed to detect the luminiferous ether, led to Einstein's theory of special relativity. The puzzling behavior of blackbody radiation led to the development of quantum mechanics. The unsettling discovery of the cosmic microwave background led to the Big Bang theory. Initially, these all looked like failures, dead ends, insolvable problems. Yet they birthed entirely new fields of scientific investigation. Embracing uncertainty has vast implications, touching both personal and societal growth. On a personal level, it nurtures critical thinking, broadens our minds, and emboldens us to challenge the status quo. On a societal level, it fuels innovation, fosters tolerance, and promotes constructive dialogue. This directly relates to the concept of lifelong learning. We must adapt as information changes around us. Uncertainty is transformed from a source of fear into a source of wonder. Some things may and possibly should never be fully understood. Imagine the beauty lost if we could fully predict all possible outcomes and had no unexpected surprises. Returning to our initial mystery of whether true objectivity exists, we find a potent resolution. Even if a purely objective vantage point remains forever beyond our grasp, the very act of striving for it sharpens our perception, broadens our perspectives, and enriches our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The seeking improves the perspective, even if the end goal is impossible. So, how do we embrace this uncertainty in our daily lives? Practices like mindfulness, meditation, and journaling can help us cultivate a greater awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and biases. Engaging in philosophical discussions, reading diverse perspectives, and questioning our own assumptions can expand our intellectual horizons. Instead of seeking definitive answers, focus on dissecting the assumptions, biases, and limitations that frame our inquiries. Continuously refine the questions themselves, viewing them not as obstacles, but as potential springs of creativity. What would happen if we looked at the question from a different angle? What if we changed some initial assumptions? What new doors might be opened? It is okay not to have all the answers. Embracing the unknown fosters a deeper connection with the universe and a heightened appreciation for the mystery of existence. The tension is released, and we can find peace in this resolution. And beyond this lies the potential for future engagement. The universe is vast and complex. New mysteries are emerging in science and philosophy, ripe for exploration. What is the true nature of dark matter and dark energy? Does extraterrestrial life exist? What are the ethical boundaries of artificial intelligence? By continuing to question and explore, we contribute to a collective quest for knowledge, pushing the boundaries of human understanding. Embracing uncertainty has profound implications for personal growth, societal change, and our understanding of the universe. Consider how these ideas might reshape your own life, relationships, and engagement with your community. Join the ongoing conversation. Share your own thoughts and questions in the comments below, sparking a dialogue that extends far beyond this video. The quest for knowledge is a never-ending journey. The most transformative discoveries likely lie just beyond the horizon of our current understanding. So, let us continue questioning, exploring, and learning with open minds and enthusiastic hearts, always ready to embrace the beauty and mystery of the universe.